Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jargatma Tufunjargat. Here are the top stories making the headlines for today. There are currently 488 school and kindergarten buildings in the capital city that do not meet safety and usage requirements. An international conference of Mongolists was held. Mongolian youth participated in the 10th Grand Clavier International Piano Competition for young artists. For the news, stay tuned. Despite repeated warnings and official conclusions deeming hundreds of school buildings unsafe, over 488 schools and kindergartens in Mongolia's capital alone remain in use, many with crumbling walls, mold, and structural hazards. With no alternative facilities and overcrowding at crisis levels, over 370,000 students nationwide continue to be denied their basic right to learn in a safe, healthy environment. Across the country, many educational institutions continue operating in buildings that are on the verge of collapse, with mold-infested and decaying walls. Although the relevant authorities may declare such buildings unfit for use, the lack of alternative facilities forces schools to continue operating in these hazardous conditions. For instance, if a single school runs in 2 shifts and accommodates around 1,800 students, it becomes clear that the right of many children to learn in a safe and healthy environment is being severely violated.
In the case of our school building, from 2012 to 2021, 4 different assessments concluded that it was unfit for educational use. Our school directors have, for the past 4 or 5 years, submitted proposals for a new primary school building multiple times to the relevant officials, including the provincial governor and members of parliament. We even had the budget and design ready, but nothing has progressed. As for Nomondatlai School, it was founded in 1924 and celebrated its 100th anniversary. The school was among those shut down based on the Specialized Inspection Agency's conclusion. Even so, until a new building or an extension is constructed next to it, we've been barely continuing operations, sometimes managing, sometimes not. In our province, we're doing our best to keep the educational process going.
In the capital city alone, 145 new buildings intended for schools, kindergartens, and sports halls are expected to be put into operation. A budget of around 980 billion MNT has been allocated for these 145 buildings. For next year, this budget is projected to increase by 1.5 times, requiring about 2.5 trillion MNT.
In terms of investment, those 488 buildings in the capital, out of them about 70 buildings that are completely stuck. We're working closely on this matter in 2024 and in 2025 with the Governor's Office of Ulaanbaatar. This issue is both a responsibility of the district governors and can sometimes be resolved with local budgets, while others require funding from the state budget. It's a collaborative effort. By next year, we expect many of these issues to be at least partially resolved in the initial phase.
Currently, about 725,000 children are studying in 704 state-owned general education schools nationwide. More than 50% of them, around 370,000 students, are having their right to education violated due to overcrowded classrooms and inadequate school environments. According to research by the Ministry of Education, by the year 2030, Mongolia will need to construct an additional 108 schools and 95 kindergartens to meet growing demands. During the International Conference of Mongolists, scholars from around the world discussed the importance of archival materials and oral histories in understanding Mongolia's cultural and environmental transformations, highlighting the vital role of international researchers in preserving and adapting Mongolian traditions. The International Conference of Mongolists was held, focusing on themes such as Mongolia's nomadic livestock heritage, expressions of national identity, and environmental issues. Scholars emphasize that studying these topics through archival materials is a crucial approach to understanding historical and cultural transformations, as well as environmental challenges. Furthermore, they underlined that international Mongolist researchers play an essential role in preserving Mongolia's traditions and culture while finding solutions suited to modern changes. This year's conference brought together researchers from Mongolia, the Czech Republic, France, Hungary, the United States, Canada, China, and Qatar, with approximately 30 presentations discussing various aspects of nomadic civilization. What's especially interesting today is that these oral histories were gathered through field research. So how do we now connect this material, which we consider primary sources, to other foundational documents for further study? What should be the outcome of this? What should be preserved for future generations? And how can we safeguard the perspectives of researchers themselves? These are important questions, which is why I believe this conference carries significant value.
We are paying special attention to the transformations happening within the Hu community or local social groups and how people come together, unite, and contribute to environmental protection as well as human relationships.
My presentation focused on taboos and traditional prohibitions. I discussed how they were observed in ancient nomadic empires and how much of that knowledge is still present and recognized in today's Mongolian customs. I shared a study on dreams from the past winter. For instance, I researched herders from Ulsitsum in Arhangai province who had gone on seasonal migration. I used GPS tracking and conducted interviews to gather my data and presented those findings today.
The Oirat Mongols have long preserved and carried a vast array of cultural elements within the broader Mongol identity. For example, epic storytelling in all its forms, throat singing, the topshore instrument, our mother tongue, and music and dance traditions, these are all part of a rich cultural heritage. Alongside them comes an entire clothing tradition. My presentation focused on exploring the deeper meanings behind these practices, what values are embedded in rituals like honoring the elders, and what beliefs are reflected in their way of life and worldview.
Masaryk University's Mongolian Studies program plays an active role in teaching the Mongolian language and conducting research on Mongolian history and culture to both Czech and international students. During the conference, international scholars highlighted Masaryk University's significant contribution to the development of Mongolian studies. The 10th Grand Clavier International Piano Competition for young artists took place in Madrid, Spain, with talented young pianists from Mongolia, including members of the Mongolian State Conservatory and students from the Mongolian National University of Arts and Culture and the Children's Palace. Around 70 pianists from the United Kingdom, Austria, Georgia, South Korea, China, Spain, and other countries also participated, showcasing their skills on the international stage. We have more in a report from MNB reporter Batbayer. Mongolian cultural ambassador and founder and president of the association Cultural Grand Clavier, Mintma Dorj, initiated the competition. It has now been held for the 10th time, this year in Madrid's Alcalá district. The competition started with over 20 pianists. In its 10th edition, nearly 70 young pianists displayed their talent and skill.
This year, the competition was held for the 10th time with great success. A notable feature of this year's event was the increasing participation of children from Mongolia. Young pianists from countries such as the United Kingdom and Austria also contributed actively. The prize fund for this year's competition has grown, with the top award reaching 21,000 euros. I'm delighted to see how the competition has expanded, evolving into a cultural bridge between Spain and Mongolia. This year, over 30 children from Mongolia participated, alongside more than 60 children from 7 countries. I first came 10 years ago as a judge for the inaugural competition. At that time, about 30 children from Mongolia, Russia, and Spain participated. Now, the competition has grown significantly in terms of scale and the high quality of performances.
Yes, so it's a privilege to be here in this very intercultural event, and I'm very happy to have played in this magnificent hall and this very good piano. And well, I'm just very happy to have won the Grand Prix, and hope you will enjoy now my performance.
The Alcalá district government presented their own special awards to the competitors. The ambassador of Mongolia to Spain, Nyamhu, supported the participants and contributed to the event. With our teacher Irkhanbayr, we came as a group of 4 to participate in the competition for the first time. It was a great experience and we had excellent results. One of us won 2nd place and the other 2 took 1st place. This year's competition was well organized and brought together many participants. We are now motivated to take part in the future events. I also want to express my heartfelt thanks to our teacher. Collaboration between the Royal Superior Conservatory of Music of Madrid and the Mongolian State Conservatory continues to strengthen. Their successful participation in the Friendship and Unity concert clearly reflects the growing cultural exchange between the 2 countries. Now let's take a look at currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.